Yo, welcome to 2026.
Realizing 2014 is only 3 months away. Yeah.
We are now 20 days away from release, and I'm editing all the guides so I can get you ready. I want to make sure you get the best info here and that you don't make the same mistakes I made during beta. So if you wanna stick around this channel, feel free, and I'll try my best not to disappoint. But for now, I just want to talk about my impressions of the game so far. Let's start with the main aspect right away, the combat. For those who haven't played it, imagine a classic action combat positioning and dodging, but with a skill system that works more like if a turn-based game was made real time. If you look at my speedrun for example, I have the exact sequence of skills written on my notepad, and then it was just a matter of executing it, which took a lot of attempts, and probably an equal amount of attempts to come up with the sequence in the first place. But it was also so much fun to do. So for the high-end speedrunning aspect, I would put the combat in S tier, but for the average experience, I would put it tier lower, as I can see a room for improvement. The combo skill cooldowns are often too long, and only a few of them apply art infliction, which also makes it difficult to trigger most of the combo skills. Some operators don't feel that great to control in general, and that's most likely because they are meant to be controlled by AI, but I don't see a reason why not have a satisfying combat to every operator. There are also some other minor character-specific things I'd like to see changed. Leviathan can't trigger finishers in ultimate form. Ardelia's ultimate would be more useful if it provided damage buffs. Chain's ultimate damage got nerfed a little too much, and some text descriptions might be just straight up wrong. Like the arknights passive, which seems to trigger after second use, but the description says she needs 3? Maybe I'm just misunderstanding something. Every great combat also needs good enemies, and ENDFIELD delivers pretty well with boss fights, but struggles with other game modes. CBT2 had 2 combat related events. First was an extraction minigame, which I did enjoy more than the Woodring Waves one, but it had little to do with actual combat. Second game mode was a multi-stage event, which has potential, but as of the beta it was quite underwhelming. No real mechanics, lack of strategy, and the only difficulty came from annoying lingering floor effects. I still find the most fun game mode in any of these gacha games to be holograms from WoWa. I would love something similar to that in ENDFIELD, but with a touch of strategy. Maybe being able to choose between strong buffs, one that increases damage to stagger foes, other that buffs art's intensity, or other general buffs like that. I also think they should nerf, not the bosses of course, but nerf the HP of low tier enemies, as constantly fighting bullet sponges is not fun. Building factory chains feel rewarding, everything is clean and simple enough where you shouldn't need a guide, and the bit of complexity it offers should satisfy the satisfactory gamers, at least for a while. Some notes for improvement I have. First of all, the AIC tutorials are garbage. Next, we need more mineable resources, so that we are not left with bunch of factory space we can't do anything with. Also, the factory facilities you unlock in Wuling are locked to that region, and I don't really see a reason why you shouldn't be able to use them in the previous regions. Ziplines I'm not really a big fan of. Few reasons: it's slow and inefficient, it clips through objects, and you have to set up these chains of ziplines just to use them for a few days, until you no longer need the resource to build the ziplines to. Honestly, I just want a bike, or at least a teleport stations. The reason why you want to interact with the factory in the first place, other than for fun, is for the guild progression. And oh boy, I got some shit to say about the progression. First of all, we need more resources for every progression material. I'm talking 4 or more times the amount. I could build only one character, not even fully, and that's with them sending us ton of mods in mail. Next, the RNG. There are no artifacts, no echoes, thank god, but there is RNG in gear enhancing, which has time-gated resources. And brother in Christ, what do you mean I felt high chance 10 times in a row? And what do you mean I felt standard chance 17 times in a row? There needs to be a pity system, and make these catalysts unlimited. What else am I gonna use my AIC builds for? But it doesn't stop there. There are also essences you need to equip onto your weapon. First, you need to loot an essence that matches all 3 stats. Then enhance these stats by sacrificing other essences. If you want to unlock these enhancing slots fully, you will also need weapon dupes. Looting the correct essence is the easy part, but enhancing them is near impossible. Even though there is a pity system, the enhancement chance is so low and the pity cost is so high that is not worth spending your sanity on. However, all of that can be solved if they just add merging from purple essences to gold ones, and increase the drop rate of essences from rifts. Arknights ENDFIELD is a gacha game. Gacha systems are usually the worst part of any gacha game, but in CBT1 it actually wasn't so bad. However, they did a 180 with this beta and started catering towards whales rather than low spenders. And by now you might be getting sick of hearing about it, but if there is a time to complain, it is now, because this shit ain't changing once it's released. We can assume that they will increase the income of pools we get for free, but is that enough? Oh, 120 guarantee doesn't carry over? Just don't pull more than that, forehead? Well, you need 200 pulls to guarantee the signature weapon, meaning you are throwing away 80 pulls every time. But let's assume there will be a large weekly income of arsenal tickets at endgame. When pulling on weapon banner, you have only 25% chance of getting the limited weapon, which is just ridiculous. In my opinion, besides increasing the pull income, the first 6 star in any banner should always be the limited one, and same for the weapon. Greedy gacha system can easily ruin a whole game for many people. Just look at Wuthering Waves for example. And you can clearly see the predatory tactics in ENDFIELD. Not just in the gacha system, but also by increasing the power and functionality of operators' duplicates. Next, I can go over some minor notes I have. Our spaceship could use a little more immersion. Addition of personal rooms would be nice, as I always loved entering my flat in Cyberpunk. And also, we need a target dummy, which could fit perfectly in the spaceship. Consumables. It pains me that the farm is not fully automated. Why don't we have harvesters and planters? But also, why is there a daily limit on the amount of mob drops from these rifts? Equipping stew or pudding on tactical slot eats through them so fast, probably faster than it was intended to, and if you equip it on Leviathan, it just disappears, and you gain nothing. But I don't like these consumables in general. It's pain having to farm them every time I want to attempt a run, and they last only 5 minutes, which is usually only one attempt, considering I have to then recharge my ultimates. Make them last an hour at least, and keep the tactical slots for HP regen only. Events. We had this goofy event where you go around taking pictures, and it was time gated as well. I really don't need these Genshin events in this game, but my main issue comes from them releasing events at different time across regions. And then it's just like the SpongeBob meme of watching the other regions have fun. It frustrates me because there is literally zero reason not to release them at the same time. What else I got? Oh yeah, medals. The medal system is amazing. It basically allows them to remove timers. But then for people who like to speedrun, they can obtain these achievements which can be displayed on your profile. I think, first of all, we need more space for these medals, but also, I want the game to keep track of my clear times, and maybe even add a leaderboard for friends. Then we can always strive to beat our times, and cry when a game is pay to win, so that's probably why they won't add it, but it would be nice. Puzzles. I think they are designed very well. I would like to see more environmental puzzles, similar to games like The Witness, but I have also made my own little puzzles playing the beta, little parkour puzzles trying to get out of bounds. But I guess they said fun is not allowed, and gave me an eviction notice, which I think is lame, and they should just let us escape the Matrix. I guess I didn't say anything about the story. That's because I don't really care about the story, to be honest. All these gacha games have a story writing of a visual novel written by a teenager. And some other issues, the beta was locked to 60 FPS, the clutter of UI menus could use some cleaning up, and also the UI for AIC chains could zoom out more, but I had to make my own schematics anyways, because theirs doesn't show the number of resources each facility takes and outputs. There were weird restrictions when choosing a name, and I couldn't even pick the name XDDD. I've noticed a slight delay to camera control, at least when using a mouse. The stagger meter filling up instead of going down is kinda weird to me. You can rebind your keys now, but some are locked, for example the ultimates. The AIC structures placed by other players in your world should be an opt-in or opt-out feature. There is no warning when you sacrifice a weapon for level XP, so if you wanted to sacrifice it for dupes instead and misclicked, it's GG. I am not a fan of ultimate animations in general, and I think every game should have an option to turn those animations off, which many games already have. Better descriptions would be nice, like how many of you who play the beta know exactly what art intensity does, and how long did it take you to discover that it buffs physical infliction damage as well? But some descriptions just seem plain wrong, like the either tech set effect, which makes it sound like I don't want to consume stacks at all, but in reality, it activates on the fourth stack. And also, please let me hover the debuff icons so I can see what debuffs are. With these descriptions, sometimes you are just not sure, so being able to read the actual buff while it's applied would be really helpful. That's it, that's all I have to say about the game so far. I'm really excited for the release, so much so that I plan to play ENDFIELD as my main game. Up until now, it was Lost Ark, by the way. That game, yikes. No, but let me know what you think. Do you agree or disagree with anything I said? Give me your hot takes, and I hope to see you in my next vid, which should hopefully be really soon.